Diseconomies of scale, understanding the increase in costs per unit as a firm grows larger. Diseconomies of scale refer to the phenomenon where a company's costs per unit tend to rise as it expands its operations. This occurs due to several factors that hinder efficiency and effectiveness within the organization. Let's delve into some of these factors. 1. Coordination and communication challenges. As a firm grows larger, it becomes increasingly difficult to coordinate and communicate effectively across different departments, teams, and individuals. With more people involved, information flow may slow down, leading to delays, misunderstandings, and inefficiencies. Consequently, this can result in higher costs per unit. 2. Reduced motivation and efficiency. In large organizations, employees may find it challenging to maintain the same level of motivation and dedication as they did in smaller, tight-knit teams. As the company expands, individuals may feel less connected to the overall vision and mission, leading to reduced productivity and efficiency. Lower motivation and efficiency can ultimately drive up costs per unit. 3. Increased bureaucracy. With growth, organizations often need to establish additional layers of management and administrative processes to manage the expanding operations effectively. However, an excessive increase in bureaucracy can introduce unnecessary complexities, decision-making bottlenecks, and a slower response to market changes. These factors contribute to higher costs per unit as resources are consumed in managing the bureaucratic structure. It's important to note that diseconomies of scale are not always inevitable. Some firms successfully navigate these challenges by implementing effective communication channels, fostering a positive organizational culture, streamlining processes, and finding innovative solutions to maintain efficiency as they grow larger. Advantages and disadvantages of division of labor in production. Advantages of division of labor. 1. Increased productivity through specialization. Division of labor allows individuals to specialize in specific tasks or areas of expertise. By focusing on a particular role, workers can become more skilled and efficient in their assigned tasks, leading to increased overall productivity. Specialization enables workers to develop expertise and find innovative ways to improve their output. 2. Exploitation of individual skills and talents. Division of labor allows organizations to tap into the diverse skills and talents of their workforce. By assigning tasks based on individual strengths, employees can contribute their unique abilities to the production process. This not only enhances the quality of work but also fosters a sense of fulfillment and engagement among employees. 3. Reduced training time. When tasks are divided among specialized workers, the training time required for each specific task is reduced. Workers become proficient in their assigned roles through repetition and experience. As a result, the overall training time for employees can be significantly reduced, allowing organizations to allocate resources more efficiently. Disadvantages of division of labor. 1. Worker monotony. Division of labor can lead to repetitive and monotonous work for employees. Performing the same task repeatedly may result in decreased job satisfaction and motivation. Monotony can also increase the risk of boredom, leading to a decline in productivity and creativity among workers. 2. Potential for skill obsolescence. In highly specialized divisions of labor, workers may become experts in specific tasks while lacking exposure to other areas. This specialization may limit their adaptability to changes in the job market or technological advancements. If their specialized skills become obsolete, workers may face difficulties in transitioning to new roles or industries. 3. Dependence on smooth functioning of the production process. Division of labor requires smooth coordination and interdependence among workers. If any part of the production process experiences disruptions or delays, it can negatively impact the overall output. The success of division of labor relies on the effective integration of individual tasks and the efficient flow of materials, information, and resources. While division of labor offers significant advantages in terms of productivity and utilizing individual skills, organizations should also consider the potential drawbacks and take measures to mitigate them. Implementing job rotation, providing skill development opportunities, and fostering a supportive work environment can help address the disadvantages and maximize the benefits of division of labor. The significance of understanding production, economic resources, and resource allocation. Production, economic resources, and resource allocation are fundamental concepts that underpin our understanding of how goods and services are created, the costs involved, and the functioning of economic systems. By delving into these concepts, we gain valuable insights into the dynamics of economies and the factors that shape decision-making at various levels. 1. Production. Production refers to the process of transforming inputs, such as raw materials, labor, and capital, into outputs, which are the goods and services that satisfy human needs and wants. Understanding production helps us analyze the efficiency, scalability, and technological advancements involved in the creation of goods and services. It encompasses aspects like production methods, technological innovation, economies of scale, and the role of entrepreneurship in driving economic growth. 2. Economic resources. Economic resources, also known as factors of production, are the inputs required to produce goods and services. They can be categorized into 4 main types: land, natural resources, labor, human effort, capital, physical and financial assets, and entrepreneurship, innovation and risk-taking. These resources are limited in quantity and need to be allocated efficiently to maximize output and minimize waste. Understanding economic resources helps us comprehend the availability, allocation, and utilization of these resources in different economic activities. 3. Resource allocation. Resource allocation involves the distribution of scarce resources among competing uses and needs. It entails making choices and trade-offs to determine how resources are allocated across various sectors, industries, and individuals within an economy. Resource allocation decisions impact production levels, pricing, investment, and consumption patterns. Factors such as market forces, government policies, consumer preferences, and technological advancements influence the allocation of resources. Understanding resource allocation provides insights into the efficiency, equity, and sustainability of economic systems. By grasping the concepts of production, economic resources, and resource allocation, we gain a comprehensive understanding of the dynamics of economies. These concepts shed light on how goods and services are created, the costs incurred, and the factors influencing decision-making by individuals, businesses, and governments. This knowledge is crucial for economists, policymakers, businesses, and individuals alike, as it helps inform strategic choices, policy formulation, and overall economic well-being. Understanding markets, platforms for exchange of goods, services, and resources. A market serves as a platform or mechanism that facilitates the interaction between buyers and sellers, enabling the exchange of goods, services, or resources. Markets can take various forms, including physical spaces like local markets or virtual platforms such as online marketplaces. Let's delve into the concept of markets and explore their characteristics and functions. 1. Definition of a market. A market encompasses the space or system where buyers and sellers come together to engage in transactions. It serves as a meeting point where individuals or entities with goods, services, or resources to offer, sellers, connect with those seeking to acquire them, buyers. Through this interaction, mutually beneficial exchanges occur, leading to the satisfaction of needs and wants. 2. Physical markets. Physical markets are traditional settings where buyers and sellers physically gather in a specific location. Examples include local markets, bazaars, shopping malls, and trade fairs. In these environments, buyers can directly examine and assess the quality, price, and suitability of the products or services offered by sellers. Physical markets often offer a tangible and interactive shopping experience, allowing for personal interaction and negotiation. 3. Virtual markets. With the rise of technology and the Internet, virtual markets have gained prominence. These are digital platforms where buyers and sellers connect and engage in transactions online. Online marketplaces, e-commerce websites, and platforms like Amazon, eBay, or Alibaba are prime examples of virtual markets. They provide a convenient and accessible space for buyers to browse and purchase a wide range of goods and services from sellers across various locations. Virtual markets offer the advantage of global reach, diverse product options, and simplified transactions through secure payment systems. Characteristics and functions of markets. 8. Price determination. Markets play a crucial role in establishing prices through the interaction of supply and demand. The forces of supply, sellers' offerings, and demand, buyers' desires, influence the equilibrium price, which reflects the value perceived by both parties. Market competition and the availability of substitutes also affect pricing dynamics. B. Allocation of resources. Markets help allocate resources efficiently. Buyers' preferences and willingness to pay guide the allocation of goods, services, or resources to the most valued uses. Through the mechanism of prices and market signals, resources are directed to their most productive and desired applications. C. Facilitation of trade. Markets enable transactions by providing a platform for buyers and sellers to connect. They foster trust, facilitate negotiations, and ensure secure and fair exchanges. By bringing together a wide range of buyers and sellers, markets increase the likelihood of finding suitable matches between supply and demand. D. Market efficiency. Well-functioning markets strive for efficiency by promoting competition, information transparency, and fair access. Efficient markets encourage innovation, quality improvements, and cost reductions as sellers compete for buyers' attention and loyalty. Efficiency enhances overall economic performance and consumer welfare. In conclusion, markets serve as vital mechanisms for the exchange of goods, services, and resources between buyers and sellers. Whether physical or virtual, markets enable transactions, determine prices, allocate resources, and drive economic activity. Understanding the characteristics and functions of markets is essential for businesses, policymakers, and consumers to navigate and thrive within the complex landscape of economic exchange. Understanding market forces, influential factors shaping buyer and seller behavior. Market forces encompass a range of factors that have a significant impact on the behavior of buyers and sellers within a market. These forces play a crucial role in shaping the dynamics of supply, demand, pricing, and overall market outcomes. Let's explore the key market forces and their influence on market behavior. 1. Demand and supply. The forces of demand and supply are fundamental drivers of market behavior. Demand represents the quantity of a good or service that buyers are willing and able to purchase at a given price and within a specific time frame. Supply, on the other hand, refers to the quantity of a good or service that sellers are willing and able to offer for sale at various prices. The interaction between demand and supply determines the equilibrium price and quantity in a market. Changes in consumer preferences, income levels, population demographics, and other factors influence demand, while factors like production costs, resource availability, and technological advancements affect supply. 2. Competition. Competition within a market is a crucial market force that influences buyer and seller behavior. When multiple sellers offer similar goods or services, they compete to attract buyers by offering better prices, quality, or value. This competition fosters innovation, efficiency, and customer satisfaction. Competitive markets tend to result in lower prices, higher product quality, and a wider range of options for buyers. 3. Government regulations. Government regulations and policies can significantly impact market behavior. Laws and regulations may be implemented to ensure fair competition, protect consumers, safeguard public health and safety, and address externalities such as environmental concerns. Government intervention can influence market outcomes by imposing restrictions, setting standards, or providing incentives to shape buyer and seller behavior. 4. Consumer preferences. Consumer preferences and tastes are influential market forces. Buyers' choices are driven by factors such as product quality, brand reputation, price sensitivity, convenience, and social and environmental considerations. Changes in consumer preferences can shift demand for specific goods or services, prompting sellers to adapt their offerings to meet evolving consumer demands. 5. Technological advancements. Technological advancements play a transformative role in markets. Innovations can lead to the development of new products, production methods, and business models, disrupting existing markets and creating new ones. Technological advancements often improve efficiency, lower costs, enhance product quality, and provide new opportunities for both buyers and sellers. Understanding and analyzing these market forces are essential for businesses, policymakers, and consumers. By recognizing how demand, supply, competition, government regulations, consumer preferences, and technological advancements shape market behavior, stakeholders can make informed decisions and respond effectively to changing market conditions. This knowledge allows businesses to identify market opportunities, optimize pricing strategies, and adapt their offerings to meet customer needs. Policymakers can design appropriate regulations and policies to promote competition, consumer protection, and overall economic welfare. Similarly, consumers can make well-informed choices based on their preferences and navigate the market to meet their needs and desires effectively. Understanding the laws of demand and supply, price relationships and market dynamics. The laws of demand and supply describe the fundamental relationships between price and the behavior of buyers and sellers in a market. These laws provide essential insights into market dynamics and how changes in price influence the quantity demanded and supplied. Let's explore the concepts of the law of demand and the law of supply in more detail. 1. The law of demand. The law of demand states that there is an inverse relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity demanded. As the price of a good or service increases, the quantity demanded decreases, and conversely, as the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. This relationship occurs due to several factors. Substitution effect. When the price of a good or service increases, consumers tend to seek alternatives that offer more value for their money. They may switch to substitute products or reduce their overall consumption, resulting in a decrease in quantity demanded. Income effect. Changes in price can also impact consumers' purchasing power. When the price of a good or service rises, consumers may experience a decrease in their real income, leading to a reduced ability to afford the product and a subsequent decline in quantity demanded. Diminishing marginal utility. The law of diminishing marginal utility suggests that as individuals consume more of a particular good or service, the satisfaction derived from each additional unit tends to decrease. Therefore, consumers are generally willing to pay a higher price for the first unit consumed but are less willing to pay the same price for subsequent units, contributing to the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. 2. The law of supply. The law of supply describes the positive relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity supplied. As the price of a good or service increases, the quantity supplied by producers also increases, while a decrease in price leads to a decrease in quantity supplied. Several factors influence the supply-side relationship. Production costs. When the price of a good or service rises, producers stand to earn higher revenues, which can incentivize them to increase production. Higher prices may offset the costs of production, such as raw materials, labor, and technology, making it more profitable for producers to supply larger quantities. Profit maximization. Producers aim to maximize profits, and a higher price allows them to increase their profitability. As prices rise, producers may allocate more resources, expand production capacities, or introduce efficiencies to meet the increased demand and take advantage of the favorable market conditions. Technological advancements. Innovations and technological advancements can lower production costs, increase efficiency, and enhance productivity. These advancements enable producers to supply larger quantities at a given price or to reduce costs and supply the same quantity at a lower price. Understanding the laws of demand and supply is crucial for comprehending market behavior and predicting how changes in price affect the quantities demanded and supplied. These laws provide a foundation for analyzing price movements, market equilibrium, and the interplay between buyers and sellers. By studying these relationships, economists, businesses, and policymakers can make informed decisions, develop pricing strategies, and anticipate market outcomes. Ceteris paribus, understanding its role in economic analysis and cause and effect relationships. Ceteris paribus, a Latin phrase meaning all other things being equal, holds significant importance in economic analysis. It serves as a powerful tool to isolate the impact of a specific variable by assuming that all other relevant variables remain constant. This concept allows economists to study cause and effect relationships and comprehend the effects of individual variables on market outcomes. Let's explore the concept of ceteris paribus in more detail. 1. The meaning of ceteris paribus. In economic analysis, ceteris paribus refers to the assumption that factors other than the one under examination remain unchanged. It allows economists to simplify complex scenarios and focus on the impact of a specific variable in isolation. By holding other relevant variables constant, economists can better understand the relationship between the variable of interest and its effects on market dynamics. 2. Isolating variable effects. Ceteris paribus helps economists disentangle the influence of multiple factors by systematically considering each variable's impact one at a time. By assuming that all other variables remain constant, economists can attribute changes in market outcomes to variations in the specific variable under study. This approach enables a clearer understanding of the relationship between the chosen variable and its effects on economic phenomena. 3. Cause and effect relationships. Ceteris paribus facilitates the identification of cause and effect relationships within complex economic systems. By isolating specific variables and analyzing their impact, economists can ascertain how changes in one variable lead to changes in other economic variables or market outcomes. This analytical method allows for a more nuanced understanding of the factors driving economic phenomena and enables the formulation of more accurate predictions and policy recommendations. 4. Practical application. Ceteris paribus is widely employed in economic models, experiments, and empirical studies. By assuming that all other relevant factors remain constant, economists can develop simplified models that capture the essence of complex economic systems. These models help identify key drivers, analyze economic relationships, and make predictions about how changes in specific variables will impact market outcomes. However, it is important to note that ceteris paribus assumptions may not always hold true in real-world situations. Economic variables are interrelated, and changes in one variable often have ripple effects throughout the system. Nevertheless, ceteris paribus provides a valuable framework for analyzing the impact of individual variables, establishing causal relationships, and gaining insights into the complexities of economic phenomena. In conclusion, ceteris paribus serves as a powerful analytical tool in economic analysis. By assuming that all other things remain equal, economists can isolate the impact of specific variables and study cause and effect relationships. This approach helps in understanding market dynamics, predicting outcomes, and formulating effective economic policies. While it simplifies complex systems, economists must recognize the limitations of ceteris paribus assumptions and consider the broader interconnections between economic variables in real-world contexts. Demand and supply curves, visualizing the price-quantity relationship. Demand and supply curves are graphical tools that help illustrate the relationship between price and quantity in a market. These curves provide valuable insights into the behavior of consumers and producers and offer a visual representation of the forces at play. Let's delve into the concept of demand and supply curves and their significance in understanding market dynamics. Demand curve. The demand curve represents the relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity that consumers are willing and able to purchase at different price levels. It is typically downward sloping, indicating an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. The demand curve is derived from the law of demand, which states that as the price of a good or service increases, the quantity demanded decreases, and vice versa. The demand curve reflects the preferences, tastes, income levels, and other factors that influence consumer behavior. It shows the maximum quantity of a product or service that consumers are willing to buy at each price point, assuming all other factors remain constant, ceteris paribus. By examining the demand curve, economists can analyze consumer responsiveness to price changes and make predictions about how changes in price will affect quantity demanded. Supply curve. The supply curve represents the relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity that producers are willing and able to offer at various prices. It is typically upward sloping, indicating a positive relationship between price and quantity supplied. The supply curve is derived from the law of supply, which states that as the price of a good or service increases, the quantity supplied also increases, and vice versa. The supply curve reflects factors such as production costs, resource availability, technological advancements, and other influences on producers' decisions. It shows the maximum quantity that producers are willing to supply at each price level, assuming all other factors remain constant, ceteris paribus. By analyzing the supply curve, economists can examine producer responsiveness to price changes and predict how changes in price will impact quantity supplied. Market equilibrium. The intersection of the demand and supply curves represents the market equilibrium, where the quantity demanded equals the quantity supplied at a particular price level. At this point, there is no excess demand, shortage, or excess supply, surplus, in the market. The equilibrium price and quantity provide insights into the balance between consumer demand and producer supply. Shifts in the curves. Changes in factors other than price can cause shifts in the demand and supply curves. These factors include changes in consumer income, preferences, population demographics, production costs, technology, government policies, and external shocks. When these factors change, the entire demand or supply curve shifts, indicating a change in the quantity demanded or supplied at each price level. Understanding the demand and supply curves helps economists, businesses, and policymakers gain insights into market dynamics, pricing decisions, and the effects of external factors on market outcomes. By analyzing these graphical representations, stakeholders can make informed decisions about production levels, pricing strategies, and resource allocation to optimize market performance. Determinants of demand and supply, factors shaping market behavior. The determinants of demand and supply are essential factors that influence the behavior of buyers and sellers in a market. These determinants play a crucial role in shaping the demand for and supply of goods and services. Let's explore the determinants of demand and supply in more detail and their significance in understanding market behavior. Determinants of demand. 1. Consumer income. Consumer income is a key determinant of demand. As income levels increase, consumers generally have more purchasing power, leading to higher demand for goods and services. Conversely, when incomes decrease, consumers may reduce their spending, resulting in lower demand. 2. Prices of related goods. The prices of related goods, including substitutes and complements, impact the demand for a particular good or service. Substitutes are products that can be used as alternatives, while complements are products that are consumed together. When the price of a substitute increases, consumers tend to shift their demand towards the relatively cheaper good. Conversely, if the price of a complement rises, it may reduce the demand for the associated good. 3. Consumer preferences. Consumer preferences and tastes significantly influence demand. Changes in consumer preferences, influenced by factors like cultural shifts, trends, and advertising, can impact the demand for specific products or services. If a product becomes more fashionable or desirable, its demand may increase, even if the price remains constant. 4. Population. The size and demographics of the population can affect demand. An increase in population can lead to a larger consumer base, potentially boosting demand. Additionally, changes in population demographics, such as age distribution or household composition, can influence the demand for specific goods or services tailored to different consumer segments. 5. Advertising and marketing. Advertising and marketing efforts can shape consumer demand. Effective advertising campaigns can create awareness, generate interest, and influence consumer perceptions and preferences. Strategic marketing can effectively communicate the value proposition of a product or service, stimulating demand. Determinants of supply. 1. Production costs. Production costs, including labor, raw materials, and energy expenses, significantly impact supply. When production costs increase, producers may face higher expenses, leading to reduced profitability and potentially lower supply. Conversely, decreases in production costs can incentivize increased supply. 2. Technology. Technological advancements can enhance production efficiency, reduce costs, and increase supply. Improved technology often enables producers to streamline processes, increase output, and introduce innovative products, positively impacting supply levels. 3. Input prices. Input prices, such as the cost of raw materials or intermediate goods, can affect supply. If input prices rise, it can increase production costs for producers, potentially leading to lower supply. Conversely, decreases in input prices may lower production costs, encouraging higher supply. 4. Government policies. Government policies and regulations can influence supply. Policies related to taxes, subsidies, trade restrictions, and production regulations can impact the costs of production and the ease of doing business, thereby affecting supply levels. 5. Number of suppliers. The number of suppliers in the market can influence supply. If more producers enter a market, competition increases, potentially leading to higher supply. On the other hand, if suppliers exit the market, it can reduce supply. Understanding the determinants of demand and supply helps economists, businesses, and policymakers analyze market behavior, anticipate changes in demand and supply conditions, and make informed decisions. By considering these factors, stakeholders can adjust their strategies, pricing, and resource allocation to effectively respond to changes in consumer demand and adapt to market dynamics. Shifts in demand and supply curves, exploring the impact of determinant changes. Changes in the determinants of demand and supply can lead to shifts in the respective demand and supply curves. These shifts signify alterations in the quantity demanded and supplied at each price level. Let's delve deeper into how changes in determinant factors can influence the demand and supply curves and what these shifts signify. Shifts in the demand curve. The demand curve represents the relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity consumers are willing and able to purchase. Changes in the determinants of demand can shift the entire demand curve, indicating a change in the quantity demanded at each price level. 1. Increase in consumer income. When consumer income increases, it can lead to a shift in the demand curve to the right. This means that at each price level, consumers are willing and able to purchase a higher quantity of the good or service. The shift reflects the increased purchasing power of consumers due to higher incomes. 2. Prices of related goods. Changes in the prices of related goods, such as substitutes and complements, can also impact the demand curve. An increase in the price of a substitute good may cause consumers to shift their demand towards the relatively cheaper good, leading to a shift in the demand curve for the original good. Similarly, a decrease in the price of a complement may lead to an increased demand for the associated good, resulting in a shift in the demand curve. 3. Consumer preferences. Changes in consumer preferences can cause shifts in the demand curve. For instance, if a product becomes more fashionable or desirable due to changing trends or advertising efforts, the demand curve may shift to the right, indicating increased quantity demanded at each price level. Shifts in the supply curve. The supply curve represents the relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity producers are willing and able to offer. Changes in the determinants of supply can shift the entire supply curve, indicating a change in the quantity supplied at each price level. 1. Decrease in production costs. When production costs decrease, it can lead to a shift in the supply curve to the right. This means that at each price level, producers are willing and able to supply a higher quantity of the good or service. The shift reflects improved efficiency, reduced costs, or other factors that enable producers to increase their supply. 2. Technological advancements. Technological advancements that enhance production efficiency can lead to a rightward shift in the supply curve. Improved technology enables producers to increase output and reduce costs, resulting in a higher quantity supplied at each price level. 3. Input prices. Changes in input prices, such as the cost of raw materials or intermediate goods, can impact the supply curve. An increase in input prices may lead to higher production costs, causing a leftward shift in the supply curve. Conversely, a decrease in input prices can result in lower production costs and a rightward shift in the supply curve. It is important to note that these determinant changes and resulting shifts in the demand and supply curves can have significant implications for market equilibrium, prices, and quantities exchanged. When the demand curve shifts to the right, increased demand, or the supply curve shifts to the left, decreased supply, prices tend to rise. Conversely, a leftward shift in the demand curve or a rightward shift in the supply curve can lead to lower prices. The shifts in these curves provide insights into changes in market conditions and help stakeholders, such as businesses and policymakers, adapt their strategies accordingly. By analyzing the determinants of demand and supply and their effects on the corresponding curves, economists and market participants can anticipate changes in market dynamics, make informed decisions, and respond effectively to shifts in consumer demand and producer supply. Market equilibrium. Achieving balance between demand and supply. Market equilibrium is the state in which the quantity demanded by consumers matches the quantity supplied by producers, creating a point of balance between the forces of demand and supply. At this equilibrium point, there is neither a shortage nor a surplus in the market. Let's explore the concept of market equilibrium in more detail and its significance in understanding the dynamics of supply and demand. Understanding market equilibrium. Market equilibrium occurs when the quantity demanded and the quantity supplied are in perfect balance at a specific price level. It represents the point of intersection between the demand curve and the supply curve. This equilibrium price and quantity combination reflects the ideal conditions where there is neither excess demand, shortage, nor excess supply, surplus, in the market. How market equilibrium is achieved. Market forces, specifically the interaction between demand and supply, drive the establishment of market equilibrium. Let's examine the two scenarios that occur when the market is not in equilibrium. 1. Surplus. If the prevailing price in the market is above the equilibrium price, it creates a surplus. This means that the quantity supplied exceeds the quantity demanded. In response to this surplus, producers may lower the price to encourage more buyers, reducing the quantity supplied. As the price decreases, the surplus diminishes until equilibrium is reached. 2. Shortage. Conversely, if the prevailing price in the market is below the equilibrium price, it leads to a shortage. This implies that the quantity demanded exceeds the quantity supplied. As buyers compete for the limited supply, sellers may increase the price to maximize profits, resulting in a reduction in quantity demanded. This process continues until the shortage diminishes and equilibrium is restored. Significance of market equilibrium. Market equilibrium plays a crucial role in determining prices and quantities exchanged in the market. It reflects the point where the intentions of buyers and sellers align, resulting in the optimal allocation of resources. Key implications of market equilibrium include: 1. Price stability. At equilibrium, the market settles on a stable price that clears the market. The equilibrium price is the price at which the quantity demanded equals the quantity supplied, ensuring a balanced market condition. 2. Allocative efficiency. Market equilibrium achieves allocative efficiency, as resources are allocated to their most valued uses. The equilibrium price and quantity reflect the preferences of consumers and the cost considerations of producers, maximizing overall welfare. 3. Market predictability. Understanding market equilibrium allows economists, businesses, and policymakers to predict market outcomes. It provides a reference point for analyzing changes in demand and supply, assessing the impact of external factors, and formulating appropriate strategies and policies. 4. Market dynamics. Changes in determinants of demand and supply can shift the equilibrium point. Such changes may result from shifts in consumer preferences, changes in production costs, technological advancements, or alterations in government policies. These shifts can have significant implications for prices, quantities exchanged, and overall market dynamics. By analyzing market equilibrium, stakeholders can gain insights into price determination, quantity exchanged, and the stability of markets. It enables businesses to make informed pricing decisions, adjust production levels, and anticipate market trends. Policymakers can also utilize this understanding to formulate appropriate interventions that promote economic efficiency and consumer welfare. In conclusion, market equilibrium represents the point where quantity demanded equals quantity supplied, achieving a balance between demand and supply forces. It ensures price stability, allocative efficiency, and predictability within markets. By comprehending market equilibrium and its underlying dynamics, economists, businesses, and policymakers can make informed decisions and effectively respond to changes in supply and demand conditions. Graphical representation of market equilibrium, intersecting demand and supply curves. Market equilibrium, representing the balance between demand and supply, can be visually depicted through a graphical representation that combines the demand and supply curves on the same graph. This graphical representation allows us to identify the equilibrium price and quantity. Let's explore how the demand and supply curves intersect and what this intersection signifies. 1. The demand curve. The demand curve illustrates the relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity that consumers are willing and able to purchase. It typically slopes downward from left to right, indicating that as price decreases, the quantity demanded increases, and vice versa. This downward slope is derived from the law of demand. 2. The supply curve. The supply curve, on the other hand, represents the relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity that producers are willing and able to offer. It usually slopes upward from left to right, indicating that as price increases, the quantity supplied also increases, and as price decreases, the quantity supplied decreases. This upward slope is derived from the law of supply. 3. Equilibrium price and quantity. The point at which the demand and supply curves intersect is known as the market equilibrium. At this intersection point, the quantity demanded equals the quantity supplied, resulting in a state of balance. The price corresponding to this point is referred to as the equilibrium price, and the corresponding quantity is known as the equilibrium quantity. Significance of market equilibrium graph. The graphical representation of market equilibrium offers several insights into market dynamics. 8. Price determination. The equilibrium price is determined by the point of intersection between the demand and supply curves. It represents the price at which the intentions of buyers and sellers align, resulting in a balanced market condition. B. Quantity exchanged. The equilibrium quantity is the quantity of a good or service that is both demanded by consumers and supplied by producers at the equilibrium price. It signifies the optimal quantity where demand and supply are in equilibrium. C. Market forces. The intersection of the demand and supply curves highlights the interaction between consumer demand and producer supply. It reflects the balancing act of market forces, where the quantity demanded and the quantity supplied converge. D. Market dynamics. Changes in the determinants of demand and supply can lead to shifts in the respective curves, causing a new equilibrium point. These shifts can be caused by factors such as changes in consumer preferences, production costs, technology, or government policies. The graphical representation allows us to visualize how changes in these factors can impact market equilibrium. Eat price signals. The demand and supply curves provide valuable price signals to buyers and sellers. Prices above the equilibrium level indicate excess supply and may prompt sellers to lower prices. Conversely, prices below the equilibrium level indicate excess demand and may encourage sellers to raise prices. By analyzing the graphical representation of market equilibrium, economists, businesses, and policymakers can gain insights into price determination, quantity exchanged, and the dynamics of market conditions. This understanding helps in making informed decisions regarding pricing strategies, production levels, resource allocation, and policy interventions. In summary, the graphical representation of market equilibrium through the intersection of demand and supply curves provides a visual tool for understanding the balance between supply and demand forces. It reveals the equilibrium price and quantity, shedding light on the dynamics of market interactions and serving as a reference point for decision-making. Shifts in market equilibrium, impact of changes in demand and supply. Changes in market conditions, particularly shifts in demand or supply, can disrupt the existing market equilibrium and lead to the establishment of a new equilibrium point. These shifts reflect alterations in the quantity demanded and supplied, consequently affecting the price and quantity exchanged in the market. Let's delve into how changes in market conditions can impact the equilibrium and the resulting adjustments. 1. Shifts in demand curve. Changes in the determinants of demand can cause the entire demand curve to shift, leading to a new equilibrium point. Consider the example of an increase in consumer income, which typically results in higher purchasing power. This increase in income leads to an upward shift in the demand curve. The new equilibrium will exhibit a higher price and quantity, reflecting the increased quantity demanded by consumers at each price level. Impact on price. As the demand curve shifts upward, indicating higher quantity demanded at each price level, the equilibrium price will increase. The increased purchasing power of consumers leads to a willingness to pay higher prices for the good or service. Impact on quantity. With an upward shift in the demand curve, the equilibrium quantity will also increase. The higher quantity demanded by consumers reflects their increased willingness and ability to purchase the good or service at various price levels. 2. Shifts in supply curve. Changes in the determinants of supply can cause the entire supply curve to shift, resulting in a new market equilibrium. Let's consider the example of a decrease in production costs. When production costs decrease, it allows producers to offer a higher quantity at each price level, leading to an upward shift in the supply curve. The new equilibrium will display a lower price and a higher quantity. Impact on price. As the supply curve shifts upward, indicating higher quantity supplied at each price level, the equilibrium price will decrease. The reduction in production costs allows producers to offer the good or service at lower prices while maintaining profitability. Impact on quantity. With an upward shift in the supply curve, the equilibrium quantity will increase. The higher quantity supplied by producers reflects their ability to offer more at each price level, driven by reduced production costs. The significance of shifts in market equilibrium lies in the adjustments required to achieve a new balance between supply and demand. These adjustments can have far-reaching implications for market participants. Price adjustments. Changes in market conditions necessitate price adjustments. As the equilibrium price shifts, market participants must adapt their pricing strategies to reflect the new balance between supply and demand forces. Quantity adjustments. The equilibrium quantity also undergoes changes with shifts in demand or supply. Market participants, such as producers and consumers, need to respond to the new equilibrium quantity to optimize their production levels and consumption patterns. Market dynamics. Shifts in market equilibrium reflect changes in underlying factors such as consumer preferences, income levels, production costs, or technological advancements. These shifts highlight the dynamic nature of markets and the need for continuous monitoring and adaptation. By recognizing and analyzing shifts in market equilibrium, economists, businesses, and policymakers can make informed decisions. They can adjust pricing strategies, production levels, resource allocation, and policies to effectively respond to changing market conditions, maximize efficiency, and enhance overall welfare. In conclusion, changes in market conditions can lead to shifts in the equilibrium point, resulting in adjustments to price and quantity. Shifts in the demand or supply curve require market participants to adapt their strategies and behaviors accordingly. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for decision-making and effectively navigating the ever-changing landscape of supply and demand interactions. Comparing changes in market equilibrium, assessing shifts in demand and supply. Changes in the market equilibrium can be effectively illustrated by comparing the new equilibrium position with the previous one. The direction and magnitude of these changes are contingent upon the nature and extent of shifts in both demand and supply. Let's delve into the process of comparing changes in market equilibrium and understand how shifts in demand and supply influence these adjustments. Assessing changes in market equilibrium. When comparing the new equilibrium position to the previous one, there are a few key factors to consider. 1. Direction of change. The first aspect to examine is the direction of change. A shift in either the demand or supply curve can lead to three possible outcomes: an increase, decrease, or no change in either price or quantity. The direction of change depends on whether the shift in demand or supply is positive, rightward, or negative, leftward. 2. Magnitude of change. Alongside the direction, it is crucial to assess the magnitude of the changes. This refers to the extent of the shifts in the demand or supply curve. The larger the shift, the greater the impact on the new equilibrium position compared to the previous one. Influences of shifts in demand and supply. 1. Shifts in demand. When there is a shift in the demand curve, it indicates changes in factors such as consumer preferences, income levels, or the prices of related goods. The direction and magnitude of the shift determine the impact on the new equilibrium. Increase in demand. If there is an increase in demand, the demand curve shifts to the right. This leads to a higher equilibrium price and quantity compared to the previous equilibrium. The increase in demand indicates that consumers are willing and able to purchase a greater quantity at each price level. Decrease in demand. Conversely, a decrease in demand shifts the demand curve to the left. This results in a lower equilibrium price and quantity compared to the previous equilibrium. The decrease in demand signifies a reduced quantity demanded by consumers at each price level. 2. Shifts in supply. Shifts in the supply curve reflect changes in factors such as production costs, technological advancements, or government policies. The direction and magnitude of the shift impact the new equilibrium position. Increase in supply. An increase in supply shifts the supply curve to the right. This leads to a lower equilibrium price and a higher equilibrium quantity compared to the previous equilibrium. The increase in supply indicates that producers are willing and able to offer a greater quantity at each price level. Decrease in supply. On the other hand, a decrease in supply shifts the supply curve to the left. This results in a higher equilibrium price and a lower equilibrium quantity compared to the previous equilibrium. The decrease in supply suggests a reduced quantity supplied by producers at each price level. By comparing the changes in market equilibrium, economists, businesses, and policymakers can assess the implications of shifts in demand and supply. These comparisons provide insights into pricing dynamics, quantity adjustments, and the overall market landscape. Understanding the influences of shifts in demand and supply allows stakeholders to make informed decisions, develop appropriate strategies, and respond effectively to changing market conditions. In conclusion, comparing changes in market equilibrium involves assessing the direction and magnitude of shifts in demand and supply. The nature of these shifts determines the adjustments in price and quantity in the new equilibrium position. Analyzing these changes provides valuable insights for decision-making and helps stakeholders navigate the dynamic nature of supply and demand interactions. Price elasticity of demand, measuring consumer responsiveness to price changes. Price elasticity of demand is a crucial concept that measures the degree of responsiveness of quantity demanded to changes in price. It quantifies the sensitivity of consumer demand to price fluctuations. Let's delve into the details of price elasticity of demand, its calculation, and its significance in understanding consumer behavior. Calculation of price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand is determined by calculating the percentage change in quantity demanded relative to the percentage change in price. The formula for price elasticity of demand is as follows. Price elasticity of demand equals % change in quantity demanded / % change in price. This calculation provides a numerical value that indicates the responsiveness of quantity demanded to price changes. The resulting value can be either elastic, inelastic, or unitary, depending on the magnitude of the percentage changes in quantity demanded and price. Interpreting price elasticity of demand. The value obtained from calculating price elasticity of demand carries significant implications for understanding consumer behavior. 1. Elastic demand. if the calculated price elasticity of demand is greater than 1, it indicates elastic demand. In this case, a percentage change in price leads to a larger percentage change in quantity demanded. Consumers are highly responsive to price changes, and even small price fluctuations can significantly impact their purchasing decisions. Elastic demand is associated with goods or services for which consumers have many substitutes readily available in the market. 2. Inelastic demand. On the other hand, if the calculated price elasticity of demand is less than 1, it signifies inelastic demand. In this scenario, a percentage change in price results in a smaller percentage change in quantity demanded. Consumers show less responsiveness to price changes, and their demand remains relatively stable, regardless of price fluctuations. Inelastic demand typically applies to essential goods or services that have limited substitutes. 3. Unitary elasticity. When the calculated price elasticity of demand is exactly 1, it represents unitary elasticity. In this case, the percentage change in price corresponds proportionally to the percentage change in quantity demanded. The responsiveness of consumers to price changes is moderate, and the resulting impact on quantity demanded is directly proportional to the price change. Significance of price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand is a vital tool for businesses, policymakers, and economists. Its significance lies in the following aspects. 1. Demand forecasting. Price elasticity of demand assists in predicting how changes in price will influence quantity demanded. Businesses can use this information to anticipate consumer responses to pricing strategies and adjust production levels accordingly. 2. Pricing strategies. Understanding the price elasticity of demand helps businesses make informed decisions regarding pricing. For elastic demand, lowering prices can lead to a substantial increase in quantity demanded and revenue. Conversely, for inelastic demand, increasing prices may result in higher profitability without significant quantity changes. 3. Revenue optimization. Price elasticity of demand aids in revenue optimization by identifying price points that maximize revenue. Businesses can analyze the responsiveness of consumers to price changes to determine the optimal price for their products or services. 4. Policy implications. Policymakers utilize price elasticity of demand to assess the impact of taxes, subsidies, or regulations on consumer behavior. Understanding the responsiveness of consumers to price changes helps design effective policies that achieve desired outcomes. By calculating and interpreting price elasticity of demand, stakeholders gain insights into consumer behavior and the impact of price changes on quantity demanded. This knowledge allows businesses to make informed decisions regarding pricing strategies, revenue optimization, and market positioning. Policymakers can design policies that align with consumer responses, promoting economic efficiency and welfare. In summary, price elasticity of demand measures consumer responsiveness to price changes. Its calculation provides valuable insights into the degree of demand elasticity, indicating whether demand is elastic, inelastic, or unitary. Understanding price elasticity of demand is crucial for businesses, policymakers, and economists as it guides pricing decisions, demand forecasting, revenue optimization, and policy formulation. Factors influencing price elasticity of demand. Understanding consumer responsiveness. Price elasticity of demand is influenced by various factors that determine the degree of responsiveness of quantity demanded to changes in price. These factors shed light on the elasticity of demand for different goods and services. Let's explore the key factors affecting price elasticity of demand and their implications for consumer behavior. 1. Availability of substitutes. The availability of substitutes is a crucial factor influencing price elasticity of demand. Goods or services that have readily available substitutes tend to exhibit higher price elasticity of demand. When consumers have alternative options that offer similar benefits at a lower price, they are more likely to switch to those substitutes in response to price changes. In such cases, even a slight price increase can lead to a significant decrease in quantity demanded. 2. Necessity of the good or service. The necessity of a good or service plays a role in determining price elasticity of demand. Essential goods or services that are required for basic needs, such as food, water, and healthcare, tend to have inelastic demand. Consumers view these goods as necessities and are less sensitive to price changes. The demand for such goods remains relatively stable, regardless of price fluctuations, as there are limited substitutes or alternatives available. 3. Proportion of income spent. The proportion of income spent on a particular good or service also influences price elasticity of demand. Goods or services that represent a significant portion of consumers' budgets tend to have higher price elasticity of demand. When the price of these goods increases, consumers may find it more challenging to afford the same quantity due to the larger impact on their overall budget. Consequently, they are likely to reduce their quantity demanded or seek cheaper alternatives. 4. Time period considered. The time period under consideration is an important factor in assessing price elasticity of demand. In the short run, consumers may have limited options to adjust their consumption patterns or find substitutes, leading to less elastic demand. Over longer periods, consumers have more flexibility to adapt their behaviors, seek alternatives, or adjust their budgets, resulting in higher price elasticity of demand. Time allows consumers to explore options, change preferences, and make adjustments accordingly. Implications for consumer behavior. Understanding the factors that influence price elasticity of demand provides insights into consumer behavior and market dynamics. Goods with close substitutes. Goods or services that have close substitutes tend to face more intense competition. Consumers have the flexibility to switch between alternatives, making demand more elastic. Businesses operating in such markets need to be responsive to price changes and closely monitor competitive offerings. Luxury goods, which are often non-essential and associated with higher income levels, tend to exhibit higher price elasticity of demand. Consumers of luxury goods are more sensitive to price changes and may reduce their quantity demanded when prices increase. Goods with large budget shares. Goods or services that represent a substantial portion of consumers' budgets tend to have higher price elasticity of demand. Increases in price have a larger impact on overall expenses, prompting consumers to seek cost-saving options or reduce their consumption. Recognizing the factors influencing price elasticity of demand enables businesses to devise appropriate pricing strategies, identify market segments, and predict consumer responses to price changes. Policymakers can also utilize this knowledge to assess the impact of price policies and regulations on consumer behavior. In summary, factors such as the availability of substitutes, the necessity of goods or services, the proportion of income spent, and the time period under consideration affect the price elasticity of demand. These factors determine the responsiveness of consumers to price changes and influence consumer behavior. Understanding price elasticity of demand assists businesses and policymakers in making informed decisions related to pricing, market positioning, and policy formulation. Calculating price elasticity of demand, illustrating responsiveness. Price elasticity of demand can be effectively demonstrated through simple calculations, providing insights into the responsiveness of quantity demanded to price changes. By quantifying the relationship between price and quantity, we can determine the price elasticity of demand. Let's explore an example calculation and its interpretation. Example calculation. Consider a scenario where a 10% increase in the price of a particular good leads to a 20% decrease in quantity demanded. To calculate the price elasticity of demand, we divide the percentage change in quantity demanded by the percentage change in price. Price elasticity of demand equals % change in quantity demanded / % change in price. In this case, the percentage change in quantity demanded is minus 20%, a decrease of 20%, and the percentage change in price is 10%, an increase of 10%. Plugging these values into the formula. Price elasticity of demand equals minus 20% 10% equals minus 2. Interpreting price elasticity of demand. The resulting value of -2 indicates the price elasticity of demand for the specific good in this example. The negative sign signifies that the demand is inversely related to price, reflecting the typical negative slope of the demand curve. The magnitude of -2 indicates the degree of responsiveness of quantity demanded to price changes. Interpretation of elasticity value. Elastic demand, absolute value, 1 in this case, the absolute value of -2 indicates elastic demand. A price elasticity of demand greater than 1 signifies that quantity demanded is highly responsive to changes in price. In this example, a 10% price increase led to a 20% decrease in quantity demanded, indicating a relatively strong sensitivity of consumers to price fluctuations. Practical implications. Understanding the price elasticity of demand has practical implications for businesses and policymakers. 1. Pricing strategies. Businesses can utilize price elasticity of demand to determine optimal pricing strategies. In the case of elastic demand, a price decrease may lead to a proportionally larger increase in quantity demanded, potentially resulting in higher revenue. Conversely, for inelastic demand, a price increase may lead to higher profitability without significant quantity changes. 2. Demand forecasting. Price elasticity of demand assists in predicting how changes in price will impact quantity demanded. By analyzing the responsiveness of consumers, businesses can anticipate the impact of price changes on their sales and adjust production levels accordingly. 3. Policy decisions. Policymakers can utilize price elasticity of demand to inform policies related to taxation, subsidies, or regulations. Assessing the price sensitivity of consumers helps determine the impact of such interventions on consumer behavior and market outcomes. It is essential to note that the calculated price elasticity of demand represents a specific scenario and may vary for different goods, markets, and time periods. Analyzing price elasticity across various contexts helps businesses and policymakers tailor their strategies accordingly. In summary, calculating the price elasticity of demand provides insights into the responsiveness of quantity demanded to price changes. In this example, a value of -2 indicates elastic demand, highlighting the relative sensitivity of consumers to price fluctuations. Understanding price elasticity of demand supports effective pricing strategies, demand forecasting, and policy decision-making. Other types of elasticities of demand, exploring income elasticity and cross-elasticity. In addition to price elasticity of demand, there are other important concepts that help us understand consumer behavior and market dynamics. Two significant types of elasticities of demand are income elasticity of demand and cross-elasticity of demand. Let's delve into these concepts and their implications for analyzing consumer responsiveness. 1. Income elasticity of demand. Income elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded to changes in income. It quantifies how consumer demand for a particular good or service changes as income levels fluctuate. The formula for income elasticity of demand is as follows. Income elasticity of demand equals % change in quantity demanded / % change in income. The resulting value can be positive, negative, or 0, providing insights into consumer behavior. Positive income elasticity. A positive income elasticity indicates a normal good. If the income elasticity value is greater than 0, it means that an increase in income leads to a proportionate increase in quantity demanded. Examples of normal goods include clothing, entertainment, and dining out. Consumers tend to spend more on these goods as their income rises. Negative income elasticity. A negative income elasticity indicates an inferior good. If the income elasticity value is less than 0, it implies that an increase in income leads to a decrease in quantity demanded. Inferior goods are typically lower quality or less desirable options that consumers may substitute with higher income levels. Examples include generic brands or public transportation. As income increases, consumers may shift to superior alternatives, reducing their demand for inferior goods. Zero income elasticity. A zero income elasticity signifies a necessity good. If the income elasticity value is 0, it means that changes in income have no significant impact on the quantity demanded. Necessity goods, such as basic food items or utilities, are essential for daily life, and their demand remains relatively stable regardless of income fluctuations. 2. Cross-elasticity of demand. Cross-elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded of one good to changes in the price of another good. It examines the relationship between two goods and helps understand their substitutes or complements. The formula for cross-elasticity of demand is as follows. Cross-elasticity of demand equals % change in quantity demanded of good A, / % change in price of good B. The resulting value can be positive, negative, or 0, revealing the nature of the relationship between the two goods. Positive cross-elasticity. A positive cross-elasticity indicates substitute goods. If the cross-elasticity value is greater than 0, it means that an increase in the price of one good leads to an increase in the quantity demanded of another good. For example, if the price of coffee increases, consumers may switch to tea, leading to an increase in the quantity demanded of tea. Negative cross-elasticity. A negative cross-elasticity indicates complementary goods. If the cross-elasticity value is less than 0, it implies that an increase in the price of one good leads to a decrease in the quantity demanded of another good. For instance, if the price of printer ink rises, the demand for printers may decline. Zero cross-elasticity. A zero cross-elasticity signifies unrelated goods. If the cross-elasticity value is 0, it means that changes in the price of one good have no significant impact on the quantity demanded of another good. These goods are generally unrelated, and their prices do not influence each other's demand. Understanding income elasticity of demand and cross-elasticity of demand helps businesses identify market trends, assess consumer preferences, and make informed decisions regarding pricing, product development, and market positioning. These concepts also assist policymakers in analyzing market dynamics, predicting the impact of policy interventions, and promoting economic stability. In conclusion, income elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded to changes in income, while cross-elasticity of demand examines the responsiveness of quantity demanded of one good to changes in the price of another good. These elasticities provide valuable insights into consumer behavior, market relationships, and the impact of external factors on demand patterns. Price elasticity of supply, assessing producer responsiveness to price changes. Price elasticity of supply is a fundamental concept that evaluates the degree of responsiveness of quantity supplied to changes in price. It quantifies the sensitivity of producers' supply decisions to fluctuations in price. Let's delve into the details of price elasticity of supply, its calculation, and its significance in understanding producer behavior. Calculation of price elasticity of supply. Price elasticity of supply is determined by calculating the percentage change in quantity supplied relative to the percentage change in price. The formula for price elasticity of supply is as follows. Price elasticity of supply equals % change in quantity supplied / % change in price. This calculation yields a numerical value that indicates the responsiveness of quantity supplied to price changes. The resulting value can be elastic, inelastic, or unitary, depending on the magnitude of the percentage changes in quantity supplied and price. Interpreting price elasticity of supply. The value obtained from calculating price elasticity of supply carries significant implications for understanding producer behavior. 1. Elastic supply. If the calculated price elasticity of supply is greater than 1, it indicates elastic supply. A value above 1 signifies that quantity supplied is highly responsive to changes in price. Producers can quickly adjust their supply levels in response to price fluctuations. Elastic supply is typically observed when producers have excess production capacity or the ability to increase output without significant constraints. 2. Inelastic supply. On the other hand, if the calculated price elasticity of supply is less than 1, it signifies inelastic supply. A value below 1 implies that quantity supplied is relatively unresponsive to changes in price. Producers have limited flexibility to adjust their supply levels in the short run due to factors such as production constraints, limited resources, or time required to adjust production processes. 3. Unitary elasticity. When the calculated price elasticity of supply is exactly 1, it represents unitary elasticity. A value of 1 indicates that the percentage change in quantity supplied is proportionate to the percentage change in price. Producers exhibit a moderate level of responsiveness to price changes, adjusting their supply levels in a proportionate manner. Significance of price elasticity of supply. Price elasticity of supply holds significant importance for businesses, policymakers, and economists. Its significance lies in the following aspects. 1. Supply planning. Understanding the price elasticity of supply assists businesses in planning their production levels and inventory management. By evaluating the responsiveness of quantity supplied to price changes, producers can make informed decisions regarding capacity utilization, production expansion, and resource allocation. 2. Pricing strategies. Price elasticity of supply helps businesses assess the impact of price changes on their supply levels. Producers can determine the potential effects of price adjustments on their profitability, production costs, and market competitiveness. It informs decisions regarding pricing strategies, including cost-plus pricing, value-based pricing, or dynamic pricing. 3. Market dynamics. Price elasticity of supply reflects the dynamics of market interactions between producers and consumers. It helps identify factors that influence producer behavior and market outcomes. By understanding the responsiveness of supply to price changes, stakeholders can gain insights into market stability, competitive pressures, and resource allocation efficiency. By calculating and interpreting price elasticity of supply, stakeholders can gain insights into producer behavior and the impact of price changes on quantity supplied. This knowledge allows businesses to make informed decisions regarding supply planning, pricing strategies, and market positioning. Policymakers can utilize this knowledge to design policies that align with producer responses, promote market efficiency, and ensure adequate supply of essential goods. In summary, price elasticity of supply measures the responsiveness of quantity supplied to changes in price. Its calculation provides valuable insights into the elasticity of supply, indicating whether supply is elastic, inelastic, or unitary. Understanding price elasticity of supply supports effective supply planning, pricing strategies, and policy decision-making. Calculating price elasticity of supply, illustrating producer responsiveness. Price elasticity of supply can be effectively demonstrated through simple calculations, providing insights into the responsiveness of quantity supplied to changes in price. By quantifying the relationship between price and quantity, we can determine the price elasticity of supply. Let's explore an example calculation and its interpretation. Example calculation. Suppose a 10% increase in the price of a particular good leads to a 15% increase in the quantity supplied. To calculate the price elasticity of supply, we divide the percentage change in quantity supplied by the percentage change in price. Price elasticity of supply equals % change in quantity supplied / % change in price. In this case, the percentage change in quantity supplied is 15%, an increase of 15%, and the percentage change in price is 10%, an increase of 10%. Plugging these values into the formula. Price elasticity of supply equals 15% 10% equals 1.5. Interpreting price elasticity of supply. The resulting value of 1.5 indicates the price elasticity of supply for the specific good in this example. A value greater than 1 signifies elastic supply, reflecting the responsiveness of producers to changes in price. The magnitude of 1.5 suggests a relatively moderate level of responsiveness. Interpretation of elasticity value. Elastic supply, value 1. A price elasticity of supply value greater than 1 implies elastic supply. In this example, a value of 1.5 indicates that a 10% increase in price leads to a 15% increase in quantity supplied. Producers demonstrate a higher level of responsiveness to price changes, adjusting their supply levels proportionately to capture the opportunities for increased profitability. Practical implications. Understanding the price elasticity of supply has practical implications for businesses and policymakers. 1. Supply planning. Price elasticity of supply assists businesses in planning their production levels and resource allocation. By analyzing the responsiveness of quantity supplied to price changes, producers can anticipate the effects of price adjustments on their supply levels and adjust production accordingly. 2. Pricing strategies. Knowledge of price elasticity of supply helps businesses develop effective pricing strategies. Producers can assess the impact of price changes on their supply levels, production costs, and profitability. Understanding supply responsiveness enables businesses to optimize their pricing decisions for different market conditions. 3. Market dynamics. Price elasticity of supply provides insights into market dynamics, such as competitive pressures, resource allocation efficiency, and market stability. The responsiveness of supply to price changes affects market equilibrium, the availability of goods, and the overall functioning of supply chains. It is important to note that the calculated price elasticity of supply represents a specific scenario and may vary across different goods, markets, and time periods. Analyzing price elasticity of supply in various contexts helps businesses and policymakers tailor their strategies and policies accordingly. In summary, calculating the price elasticity of supply provides insights into the responsiveness of quantity supplied to changes in price. In this example, a value of 1.5 indicates elastic supply, highlighting the relative sensitivity of producers to price fluctuations. Understanding price elasticity of supply supports effective supply planning, pricing strategies, and market dynamics analysis. Market structure, influencing factors and firm behavior. Market structure encompasses the key characteristics of a market that shape the behavior and performance of firms operating within it. These characteristics include various factors that influence the dynamics and competitiveness of the market. Let's explore the concept of market structure, its components, and their implications for firm behavior. Defining market structure. Market structure refers to the framework that defines the nature and organization of a market. It determines the level of competition, entry and exit barriers, and the degree of control over prices. Understanding market structure is essential for assessing market performance, predicting firm behavior, and identifying market inefficiencies. Components of market structure. Market structure comprises several important components that shape the market environment. 1. Number of buyers and sellers. The number of buyers and sellers in a market plays a significant role in determining market structure. It affects the level of competition and the power dynamics between market participants. Markets with numerous buyers and sellers, known as competitive markets, tend to have lower barriers to entry, fostering healthy competition. In contrast, markets with fewer participants may exhibit higher concentration, giving larger firms more control over market outcomes. 2. Types of goods. The nature of goods or services traded in a market also influences market structure. Markets can be categorized based on the types of goods being exchanged, such as homogeneous goods, identical products, or differentiated goods, products with varying features or branding. The differentiation of goods affects market dynamics, pricing strategies, and consumer preferences. 3. Freedom of entry and exit. The ease or difficulty of entering or exiting a market significantly impacts market structure. In markets with low barriers to entry, new firms can readily enter the industry, intensifying competition and fostering innovation. Conversely, high barriers to entry, such as significant capital requirements or regulatory hurdles, limit the number of new entrants and may result in monopolistic or oligopolistic market structures. 4. Control over prices. Market structure influences the degree of control firms have over prices. In perfectly competitive markets, individual firms have limited control over prices as they are price takers. However, in markets with fewer sellers and differentiated products, firms may have more pricing power and the ability to influence market prices. Implications for firm behavior. Market structure significantly impacts the behavior and strategies of firms operating within it. 1. Pricing strategies. Firms' pricing decisions are influenced by market structure. In competitive markets, firms are more likely to adopt cost-based pricing or engage in price competition to attract customers. In markets with fewer competitors or differentiated products, firms may employ value-based pricing, product differentiation, or non-price strategies to maintain market share and profitability. 2. Entry and exit decisions. Market structure affects firms' decisions to enter or exit a market. In markets with low barriers to entry, new firms are more likely to enter, seeking opportunities for growth and profit. Conversely, high barriers to entry can discourage potential entrants, limiting competition and allowing existing firms to maintain their market positions. 3. Strategic interactions. Market structure influences the strategic interactions between firms. In highly concentrated markets, firms may engage in strategic behaviors such as collusion, mergers and acquisitions, or predatory pricing to gain a competitive advantage. In contrast, in competitive markets, firms focus on product differentiation, branding, and cost efficiency to attract customers and maintain market share. Understanding market structure is crucial for firms to assess their competitive landscape, develop effective strategies, and anticipate market dynamics. Additionally, policymakers rely on market structure analysis to evaluate market competitiveness, identify potential antitrust issues, and implement regulations to promote fair competition and consumer welfare. In summary, market structure encompasses the characteristics that shape the behavior and performance of firms in a market. These characteristics include the number of buyers and sellers, types of goods, freedom of entry and exit, and control over prices. Understanding market structure assists firms in making informed decisions, adapting to market conditions, and fostering competitive advantages. Characteristics of market structures, examining key elements. The characteristics of market structures encompass essential elements that shape the dynamics and outcomes of markets. These elements influence the level of competition, the behavior of firms, and the overall market environment. Let's explore the key characteristics of market structures and their implications. Level of competition. The level of competition in a market is a fundamental characteristic that defines market structure. It refers to the degree of rivalry and competitiveness among firms operating in the market. Markets can range from highly competitive to monopolistic, depending on the number of firms and their market share. Competitive markets foster efficiency, innovation, and consumer choice, while less competitive markets may experience reduced incentives for firms to improve quality or lower prices. Market power of firms. Market power refers to the ability of individual firms or groups of firms to influence market outcomes. It is a crucial characteristic that determines the extent to which firms can impact prices, quantity supplied, and market conditions. Firms with significant market power can exercise control over prices and exert influence over competitors and consumers. The presence of market power can lead to less competitive market structures, such as monopolies or oligopolies. Degree of product differentiation. Product differentiation represents the extent to which goods or services in a market differ from each other in terms of features, quality, branding, or other attributes. The degree of product differentiation affects market dynamics and competition. Highly differentiated products give firms the ability to charge premium prices and create customer loyalty. In contrast, markets with low product differentiation may experience more price-based competition as consumers have fewer distinguishing factors to consider. Barriers to entry. Barriers to entry refer to the obstacles that prevent or limit new firms from entering a market. These barriers can take various forms, including high startup costs, legal and regulatory requirements, access to distribution networks, intellectual property rights, or economies of scale enjoyed by incumbents. High barriers to entry can result in market structures dominated by established firms, reducing competition and hindering market efficiency. Presence or absence of price control mechanisms. Price control mechanisms refer to the presence or absence of regulations or policies that restrict or influence pricing decisions. In some markets, governments or regulatory bodies may implement price controls to ensure affordability, protect consumers, or prevent excessive pricing. Price controls can take the form of price ceilings, maximum prices, or price floors, minimum prices. The presence or absence of price control mechanisms affects market behavior, profit margins, and consumer welfare. Implications of market structure characteristics. Understanding the characteristics of market structures has several implications for firms and policymakers. 1. Business strategy. Firms consider market structure characteristics when formulating business strategies. The level of competition, product differentiation, and barriers to entry influence pricing decisions, marketing strategies, and product development efforts. Firms adapt their strategies to gain a competitive edge and maximize profitability within their market structure. 2. Consumer welfare. Market structure characteristics directly impact consumer welfare. Competitive markets with low barriers to entry and a high degree of product differentiation often offer lower prices, greater product variety, and improved quality. In contrast, market structures with limited competition and high barriers to entry may lead to higher prices, reduced choices, and potentially lower quality. 3. Policy decisions. Policymakers analyze market structure characteristics to assess market competitiveness and formulate appropriate policies. They consider the presence of market power, barriers to entry, and the degree of product differentiation to determine if regulations are necessary to promote competition, prevent anti-competitive behavior, and safeguard consumer interests. By understanding the characteristics of market structures, firms can devise effective strategies, policymakers can implement appropriate regulations, and consumers can benefit from competitive markets that foster innovation and choice. In summary, the characteristics of market structures include the level of competition, market power of firms, the degree of product differentiation, barriers to entry, and the presence or absence of price control mechanisms. These characteristics significantly influence market behavior, firm strategies, and consumer welfare. Analyzing market structure helps stakeholders make informed decisions, shape policies, and promote competitive markets that benefit both businesses and consumers. Types of market structures. Examining key variations. Market structures represent the different organizational arrangements and characteristics that shape the behavior and competitiveness of markets. Understanding these variations is crucial for analyzing market dynamics, firm strategies, and consumer welfare. Let's explore the main types of market structures and their defining features. 1. Perfect competition. Perfect competition is a market structure characterized by several key elements. Many buyers and sellers. There are numerous buyers and sellers in the market, with no single participant having a significant influence on market outcomes. Each participant is a price taker, meaning they have no control over prices and must accept the prevailing market price. Identical products. In perfect competition, firms produce and sell identical or homogeneous products. These products are considered perfect substitutes, making consumers indifferent between different sellers. No barriers to entry. There are no significant barriers preventing new firms from entering the market. Firms can freely enter or exit the market based on market conditions and profit opportunities. No control over prices. Firms in perfect competition have no control over prices and must accept the equilibrium price determined by the interaction of market forces, supply and demand. They adjust their quantity supplied based on the prevailing market price. 2. Monopoly. Monopoly represents a market structure characterized by a single seller or a dominant firm that controls the entire market for a particular good or service. Key features of a monopoly include: single seller. A monopoly market consists of a single seller that possesses exclusive control over the production and distribution of a specific good or service. As the sole supplier, the monopolist has substantial market power and can influence prices. No close substitutes. Monopolies often arise when a firm possesses unique resources, technology, or intellectual property, making it difficult for other firms to offer close substitutes. High barriers to entry. Monopolies typically have high barriers to entry, making it challenging for new firms to enter the market and compete. Barriers to entry can be legal, technological, or based on economies of scale. Control over prices. In a monopoly, the firm has significant control over prices. It can set prices based on its assessment of demand elasticity and profit-maximizing objectives. This control may result in higher prices and reduced consumer surplus compared to competitive markets. 3. Oligopoly. Oligopoly refers to a market structure characterized by a small number of large firms that dominate the market. Key features of an oligopoly include: few large firms. Oligopolistic markets consist of a small number of large firms that have a substantial market share. The actions and decisions of one firm significantly impact the behavior and strategies of other firms in the market. Interdependence. The behavior of firms in an oligopoly is interdependent. Each firm must consider the potential reactions of other firms when making pricing, production, or strategic decisions. Barriers to entry. Oligopolies often have high barriers to entry, which can limit the entry of new firms and protect the market position of existing firms. Barriers can include economies of scale, patents, brand loyalty, or significant capital requirements. Control over prices. Oligopolistic firms have some degree of control over prices. They may engage in non-price competition, such as product differentiation, advertising, or strategic alliances, to gain a competitive advantage. 4. Monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition is a market structure characterized by a large number of sellers offering differentiated products. Key features of monopolistic competition include: many sellers. Monopolistic competition involves numerous sellers competing in the market. Each firm has a relatively small market share and limited influence on market outcomes. Differentiated products. Firms in monopolistic competition offer differentiated products that are distinct in some way, such as through branding, quality, features, or customer service. These differences create product variety and enable firms to exercise some control over prices. Low barriers to entry. Monopolistic competition typically has relatively low barriers to entry, allowing new firms to enter the market and offer differentiated products. However, existing firms may still enjoy some brand loyalty or customer preferences. Limited control over prices. Firms in monopolistic competition have a certain degree of control over prices due to product differentiation. They can adjust prices to attract customers based on their unique product attributes. Understanding these market structures helps stakeholders analyze firm behavior, competition levels, and consumer welfare. Policymakers use this knowledge to design appropriate regulations and antitrust policies to foster competition, protect consumers, and promote market efficiency. In summary, market structures encompass various types, including perfect competition, monopoly, oligopoly, and monopolistic competition. Each structure has distinct characteristics that influence the behavior of firms, competition levels, and market outcomes. Analyzing these structures aids in understanding firm strategies, consumer choices, and the impact of market conditions on economic welfare. Market failure. Understanding inefficient resource allocation and suboptimal outcomes. Market failure arises when the free market mechanism fails to allocate resources efficiently or produce outcomes that align with societal well-being. Various factors contribute to market failure, including the presence of market power, externalities, public goods, asymmetric information, and income inequality. Let's delve into the concept of market failure and explore these factors in detail. Definition of market failure. Market failure occurs when the operation of a market does not result in the efficient allocation of resources or the attainment of socially optimal outcomes. In a perfectly competitive market, the pursuit of individual self-interest by buyers and sellers generally leads to efficient resource allocation. However, market failure arises due to specific circumstances that hinder the market from achieving an optimal allocation of resources. Factors contributing to market failure. 1. Market power. Market power refers to the ability of a single firm or a group of firms to influence prices or control market outcomes. When firms have significant market power, they can restrict output, raise prices above the competitive level, and limit consumer welfare. This leads to an inefficient allocation of resources and a suboptimal outcome for society. 2. Externalities. Externalities occur when the production or consumption of a good or service imposes costs or benefits on third parties who are not involved in the market transaction. Externalities can be positive, benefits, or negative, costs. When external costs or benefits are not accounted for in the market price, resources are misallocated, leading to inefficiencies and suboptimal outcomes. 3. Public goods. Public goods are non-excludable and non-rivalrous goods or services that provide benefits to society as a whole. These goods exhibit the free rider problem, where individuals can enjoy the benefits without contributing their fair share. Due to the difficulty of excluding individuals from using public goods, the market may fail to provide them in sufficient quantities, leading to underproduction and inefficient resource allocation. 4. Asymmetric information. Asymmetric information occurs when one party in a transaction has more information or knowledge than the other party. This information imbalance can lead to adverse selection or moral hazard problems. Adverse selection occurs when the party with more information takes advantage of the less informed party, resulting in market failures. Moral hazard refers to situations where one party engages in risky behavior due to asymmetric information, creating inefficiencies. 5. Income inequality. Income inequality can lead to market failure by distorting the distribution of resources and opportunities. When income is concentrated among a few individuals or groups, it can limit access to goods, services, and opportunities for others. This can result in inefficiencies, reduced social mobility, and an unequal distribution of resources, undermining the market's ability to achieve optimal outcomes. Implications of market failure. Market failures have significant implications for policymakers and society as a whole. 1. Intervention and regulation. Market failures often necessitate government intervention and regulation to correct inefficiencies and achieve socially desirable outcomes. Policies such as antitrust regulations, environmental regulations, income redistribution, and public provision of certain goods and services aim to address market failures and promote greater economic welfare. 2. Public goods provision. Due to the underproduction of public goods in the market, governments often play a role in their provision. Public goods, such as national defense or basic research, are typically financed through taxes and government expenditure to ensure their adequate provision for the benefit of society. 3. Correcting externalities. To mitigate the impact of external costs or benefits, policymakers can implement policies such as taxes, subsidies, or cap-and-trade systems. These measures internalize the externalities, aligning private costs and benefits with social costs and benefits, resulting in more efficient resource allocation. Understanding market failure and its contributing factors enables policymakers to design effective interventions, regulations, and policies that promote efficient resource allocation and societal well-being. By addressing market failures, societies strive to achieve a balance between market forces and public interest. In conclusion, market failure occurs when the market mechanism fails to allocate resources efficiently or produce outcomes that align with societal well-being. Factors such as market power, externalities, public goods, asymmetric information, and income inequality contribute to market failures. Recognizing and addressing these failures through appropriate interventions and policies is crucial for promoting efficient resource allocation and achieving optimal societal outcomes. Causes of market failure. Exploring factors leading to inefficient outcomes. Market failure occurs when the operation of a market system fails to achieve efficient resource allocation and optimal outcomes. Several key factors contribute to market failures, including the presence of monopolies or oligopolies, the existence of external costs or benefits, undersupply of public goods, and information asymmetry. Let's delve into these causes of market failure and understand their implications. 1. Monopolies or oligopolies. Monopolies and oligopolies are market structures characterized by a limited number of firms dominating the market. These structures often result in reduced competition and can lead to market failures. When a single firm holds a monopoly, it faces limited or no competition, enabling it to exert significant control over prices and output. Similarly, in an oligopoly, a small number of firms may collude or engage in tacit coordination, limiting competition and distorting market outcomes. These market structures can result in higher prices, reduced consumer choice, and inefficient resource allocation. 2. External costs or benefits. Externalities occur when the production or consumption of goods or services imposes costs or benefits on third parties not involved in the market transaction. External costs refer to negative impacts or costs imposed on society, while external benefits represent positive impacts or benefits. When market prices do not reflect these external costs or benefits, resources are misallocated, leading to inefficient outcomes. For example, pollution from industrial activities causes external costs as it imposes health and environmental damages that are not accounted for in the market price. Conversely, technological advancements may generate positive externalities by spurring innovation and benefiting society beyond the direct market participants. 3. Undersupply of public goods. Public goods are goods or services that are non-excludable and non-rivalrous in consumption. Non-excludability means that individuals cannot be effectively excluded from enjoying the benefits of the good, and non-rivalrous consumption implies that one person's use does not diminish its availability to others. Public goods, such as national defense, public parks, or scientific research, often face market failures because they are undersupplied in the absence of government intervention. Since private firms cannot easily capture the full value of producing public goods, they have little incentive to provide them in sufficient quantities, leading to inefficient outcomes. 4. Information asymmetry. Information asymmetry occurs when one party in a transaction possesses more information or knowledge than the other party. This imbalance can lead to market failures due to adverse selection or moral hazard problems. Adverse selection occurs when the party with more information takes advantage of the less informed party, resulting in the market being dominated by low-quality products or services. Moral hazard refers to situations where one party engages in risky behavior or shirks responsibilities due to the lack of information or monitoring. Information asymmetry can hinder market efficiency and lead to suboptimal outcomes. Implications and addressing market failures. Understanding the causes of market failure is crucial for policymakers and stakeholders to develop appropriate interventions. 1. Competition policy. Policies promoting competition, such as antitrust regulations, aim to address market failures resulting from monopolies or oligopolies. By fostering competition, these policies encourage market efficiency, innovation, and better consumer outcomes. 2. Correcting externalities. Governments can implement measures to internalize external costs or benefits. For example, pollution taxes or tradable permits can be used to address negative externalities related to environmental pollution. Subsidies or tax incentives can encourage positive externalities, such as investments in research and development. 3. Provision of public goods. The undersupply of public goods can be tackled through government provision and financing. Public funding, taxation, or public-private partnerships ensure the adequate provision of goods and services that benefit society as a whole. 4. Regulatory frameworks. To mitigate information asymmetry, regulatory frameworks can enforce disclosure requirements, consumer protection measures, and standards for transparency and accountability. These mechanisms aim to level the playing field and enhance market efficiency. By addressing the causes of market failure, policymakers and stakeholders can promote more efficient resource allocation, foster healthy competition, protect public interests, and ensure optimal societal outcomes. In summary, causes of market failure include the presence of monopolies or oligopolies, external costs or benefits not reflected in market prices, undersupply of public goods, and information asymmetry. Understanding these causes helps identify market failures and develop appropriate interventions to achieve efficient resource allocation and enhance societal well-being. Consequences of market failure: exploring impacts and necessity of government intervention. Market failure has wide-ranging consequences that extend beyond inefficient resource allocation. These consequences can include unemployment, economic downturns, increased poverty levels, and inadequate provisions for societal welfare. Recognizing the implications of market failure prompts the need for government intervention through regulation, taxation, or the provision of public goods and services to rectify the market outcomes. Let's delve into the consequences of market failure and the role of government intervention in addressing these issues. 1. Inefficiency in resource allocation. One of the primary consequences of market failure is inefficient resource allocation. When markets fail to account for external costs or benefits, monopolistic behaviors, or information asymmetry, resources are not allocated optimally. Inefficient resource allocation leads to a misallocation of factors of production, resulting in an overall loss of economic efficiency. 2. Unemployment. Market failures can contribute to increased unemployment rates. For instance, during economic downturns or recessions, market failures may exacerbate the contraction of demand and lead to reduced production levels. This can result in layoffs, job losses, and higher unemployment rates, as firms struggle to adapt to changing market conditions. 3. Economic downturns. Market failures can contribute to economic downturns or financial crises. When market forces are unable to prevent the buildup of systemic risks or when there are excessive speculative behaviors, the stability of the economy can be compromised. This can lead to economic contractions, recessions, or even depressions, with negative consequences for businesses, investors, and individuals alike. 4. Increased poverty levels. Market failures can contribute to increased poverty levels or exacerbate existing inequalities. For example, if markets fail to provide essential goods and services to vulnerable populations, such as healthcare or education, it can perpetuate cycles of poverty and hinder social mobility. Inadequate market provisions can leave certain individuals or communities without access to necessary resources, further widening socioeconomic disparities. 5. Inadequate provisions for societal welfare. Market failures can result in inadequate provisions for societal welfare. Public goods, which are often undersupplied in the absence of government intervention, may not be adequately provided by the private sector. This can hinder access to vital infrastructure, healthcare, education, or environmental conservation measures, limiting overall societal well-being. The role of government intervention. In response to market failures, government intervention becomes crucial in addressing these consequences and restoring market efficiency. Intervention measures can take various forms. 1. Regulation. Governments can implement regulations to mitigate market failures and ensure fair competition. Antitrust laws, consumer protection regulations, and environmental standards are examples of regulatory interventions aimed at correcting market failures resulting from monopolistic behaviors, externalities, or information asymmetry. 2. Taxation. Taxation policies can be used to internalize external costs or capture economic rents associated with market failures. For example, carbon taxes aim to reduce negative externalities associated with pollution by placing a financial burden on emitters. Similarly, progressive taxation can address income inequality and fund social programs to alleviate poverty. 3. Provision of public goods and services. Governments often play a crucial role in providing public goods and services that markets fail to adequately supply. Infrastructure development, national defense, public healthcare, education, and social welfare programs are examples of areas where government intervention is essential to ensure equitable access and societal well-being. 4. Correcting market distortions. Government intervention can help correct market distortions caused by externalities or market power. By providing subsidies for positive externalities, example, research and development grants, or implementing policies to promote competition, example, breaking up monopolies, governments can encourage more efficient market outcomes. By addressing the consequences of market failure, government interventions aim to restore market efficiency, promote social welfare, and mitigate the negative impacts on individuals and society. In summary, market failure carries several consequences, including inefficient resource allocation, unemployment, economic downturns, increased poverty levels, and inadequate provisions for societal welfare. To rectify these outcomes, government intervention becomes necessary through regulation, taxation, and the provision of public goods and services. By taking appropriate measures, governments strive to mitigate the impacts of market failures and promote greater economic and social well-being for their populations. The financial sector, understanding the complex network facilitating economic transactions. The financial sector encompasses a vast network of interconnected components, including markets, households, businesses, governments, laws, and institutions. Together, these elements facilitate financial transactions and the efficient flow of funds within an economy. Let's delve into the intricacies of the financial sector and explore its role in supporting economic activities. The role of the financial sector. The financial sector serves as a vital intermediary, connecting surplus units, savers, with deficit units, borrowers, to facilitate the allocation of funds. It plays a crucial role in mobilizing savings, channeling investments, managing risks, and providing various financial services. By performing these functions, the financial sector supports economic growth, capital formation, and the overall functioning of the economy. Components of the financial sector. 1. Markets. Financial markets act as platforms where various financial instruments, such as stocks, bonds, currencies, and commodities, are traded. These markets provide opportunities for buyers and sellers to interact and exchange financial assets based on prevailing prices and market conditions. Examples of financial markets include stock exchanges, bond markets, foreign exchange markets, and derivatives markets. 2. Households. Households play a critical role in the financial sector as consumers, savers, investors, and borrowers. They participate in financial markets by depositing savings in banks, investing in stocks or mutual funds, obtaining loans or mortgages, and utilizing various financial products and services offered by financial institutions. 3. Businesses. Businesses rely on the financial sector to raise capital for investment, manage cash flows, hedge risks, and access financial services. They utilize financial markets to issue stocks or bonds to raise funds, engage in foreign exchange transactions, manage liquidity through banking services, and seek specialized financial assistance for their operations. 4. Governments. Governments interact with the financial sector in multiple ways. They borrow funds through bond issuance to finance public expenditures, manage monetary policy through central banks, regulate financial institutions, and enforce laws and regulations to maintain the stability and integrity of the financial system. 5. Laws and regulations. Laws and regulations govern the financial sector, ensuring fair practices, protecting investors, maintaining market integrity, and mitigating systemic risks. Regulatory bodies and authorities oversee financial institutions, monitor market activities, and enforce compliance with legal and regulatory frameworks to safeguard the stability and functioning of the financial sector. 6. Financial institutions. Financial institutions, including banks, insurance companies, investment firms, credit unions, and pension funds, form the core of the financial sector. These institutions provide a range of financial services, such as deposit taking, lending, insurance, asset management, advisory services, and risk hedging. They act as intermediaries, channeling funds between savers and borrowers, managing risks, and facilitating economic transactions. 7. Flow of funds. The financial sector enables the efficient flow of funds between surplus units and deficit units. Savers can deposit funds in financial institutions, which in turn provide loans or invest in businesses and individuals seeking capital. This flow of funds supports economic activities, promotes investment, and contributes to economic growth. Implications for the economy. The health and stability of the financial sector significantly impact the broader economy. A well-functioning financial sector fosters economic stability, allocates resources efficiently, facilitates investment, and promotes economic growth. Conversely, disruptions or weaknesses in the financial sector can lead to financial crises, economic instability, and reduced access to credit and capital. Understanding the complexity of the financial sector helps policymakers, regulators, and market participants make informed decisions to ensure the sector's stability, enhance transparency, promote fair practices, and foster sustainable economic development. In summary, the financial sector encompasses a complex network of markets, households, businesses, governments, laws, and institutions. It plays a critical role in facilitating financial transactions, mobilizing savings, allocating funds, and supporting economic activities. By understanding its components and functions, stakeholders can effectively navigate the financial landscape, promote stability, and foster economic growth. The role of the financial sector: mobilizing savings and facilitating fund allocation. The financial sector serves a crucial role in mobilizing savings from households and channeling these funds to businesses, governments, and individuals who require them for consumption and investment purposes. Acting as an intermediary, the financial sector facilitates the transfer of funds from savers to spenders, ensuring the efficient allocation of available resources. Let's explore the role of the financial sector in detail. 1. Mobilizing savings. One of the primary functions of the financial sector is to mobilize savings from households. Individuals and households save a portion of their income by depositing it into financial institutions such as banks, credit unions, or investment accounts. These savings serve as a pool of funds that can be utilized for various purposes, including investment, lending, and consumption. 2. Intermediation. The financial sector acts as an intermediary between savers and borrowers, connecting those with excess funds to those in need of funds. Savers entrust their savings to financial institutions, which, in turn, offer a range of financial products and services to borrowers. This intermediation process ensures that funds are efficiently channeled from savers to borrowers, facilitating economic activities and investment. 3. Allocation of funds. The financial sector plays a vital role in allocating funds to different sectors of the economy. It assesses the demand for funds from businesses, governments, and individuals seeking loans or investment capital. Financial institutions evaluate creditworthiness, risk profiles, and return expectations to allocate funds to the most suitable borrowers. This allocation process helps direct funds toward productive investments, stimulating economic growth and development. 4. Supporting consumption. The financial sector enables individuals and households to access funds for consumption purposes. Through various financial products and services, such as personal loans, credit cards, and lines of credit, individuals can borrow money to finance immediate consumption needs. This facilitates spending and contributes to overall economic activity. 5. Facilitating investment. Businesses and governments rely on the financial sector to secure funds for investment in productive activities. Financial institutions provide loans, equity financing, and other forms of capital to support business expansion, research and development, infrastructure projects, and other investment initiatives. By facilitating investment, the financial sector contributes to job creation, innovation, and economic growth. 6. Risk management. The financial sector also helps manage risks associated with borrowing and lending. Financial institutions assess the creditworthiness of borrowers, analyze risk profiles, and establish risk management frameworks to minimize potential losses. They provide services such as insurance, hedging instruments, and risk advisory to help individuals and businesses mitigate financial risks. 7. Financial innovation. The financial sector fosters innovation by developing new financial products, services, and technologies. Innovations such as online banking, mobile payment systems, and peer-to-peer lending platforms enhance convenience, accessibility, and efficiency in financial transactions. Financial innovation promotes financial inclusion, drives economic progress, and enhances the overall functioning of the financial sector. The proper functioning of the financial sector is essential for economic stability, growth, and development. It ensures the efficient allocation of savings, promotes investment, supports consumption, and mitigates risks. Through its intermediation role, the financial sector facilitates the smooth transfer of funds between savers and borrowers, enabling individuals, businesses, and governments to access the capital needed for various economic activities. In summary, the financial sector plays a crucial role in mobilizing savings and allocating funds to support consumption, investment, and economic growth. By acting as an intermediary between savers and borrowers, the financial sector facilitates the efficient transfer of funds, contributing to economic stability and development. Functions of the financial sector: enabling economic activities and facilitating financial intermediation. The financial sector serves various essential functions that are instrumental in supporting economic activities and facilitating financial intermediation. These functions contribute to the efficient allocation of resources, risk management, and the smooth functioning of financial markets. Let's explore the key functions of the financial sector in detail. 1. Financial intermediation. One of the primary functions of the financial sector is financial intermediation. It acts as an intermediary between savers and borrowers, facilitating the flow of funds from those who have surplus funds, savers, to those who need funds for investment or consumption, borrowers. Financial institutions, such as banks, credit unions, and investment firms, play a crucial role in this process by accepting deposits from savers and providing loans, credit, or investment opportunities to borrowers. This intermediation ensures efficient allocation of available funds and enables economic activities to thrive. 2. Mobilizing savings. The financial sector mobilizes savings from individuals, households, and businesses. By offering various savings and investment products, such as savings accounts, certificates of deposit, CDS, and mutual funds, it encourages individuals to save a portion of their income. These savings are then pooled and made available for lending or investment, stimulating economic growth and capital formation. 3. Capital allocation and investment. Another significant function of the financial sector is to allocate capital and facilitate investment. Financial institutions play a crucial role in channeling funds towards productive investments and economic projects. They assess the creditworthiness, risk profiles, and viability of investment opportunities to allocate capital efficiently. This function supports business expansion, infrastructure development, research and development, and other productive endeavors, fostering economic growth and innovation. 4. Risk management and hedging. The financial sector assists individuals, businesses, and governments in managing various types of risks. Financial institutions provide risk management tools and services, including insurance, hedging instruments, and derivatives. These offerings help individuals and businesses protect themselves against unforeseen events, such as accidents, natural disasters, or financial market volatility. Effective risk management enhances economic stability and promotes sustainable growth. 5. Payment systems and settlements. The financial sector facilitates the smooth operation of payment systems and settlements. It provides a secure and efficient platform for individuals, businesses, and governments to make payments, transfer funds, and settle financial transactions. These payment systems include traditional methods such as checks, wire transfers, and electronic funds transfers, as well as modern digital payment solutions like mobile banking and digital wallets. Reliable and efficient payment systems contribute to economic efficiency and facilitate trade and commerce. 6. Market liquidity and price discovery. Financial markets play a vital role in determining asset prices, ensuring liquidity, and facilitating price discovery. Markets such as stock exchanges, bond markets, and commodity exchanges provide platforms where buyers and sellers can trade financial instruments. These markets enable the valuation of assets, establish market prices, and ensure liquidity by matching buyers and sellers. The financial sector's role in market liquidity and price discovery contributes to efficient capital allocation and investment decision-making. 7. Provision of financial services. The financial sector provides a wide range of financial services to individuals, businesses, and governments. These services include banking services, such as savings accounts, loans, and mortgages, investment services, such as asset management and brokerage, insurance products, financial advisory services, and wealth management. These services cater to the diverse financial needs of various stakeholders and support their financial goals and objectives. In summary, the financial sector serves critical functions that enable economic activities and facilitate financial intermediation. These functions include financial intermediation, mobilizing savings, capital allocation and investment, risk management, payment systems and settlements, market liquidity and price discovery, and the provision of diverse financial services. The effective performance of these functions contributes to the efficient functioning of the economy, promotes growth, and enhances overall financial well-being. Financial intermediation, bridging the gap between savers and borrowers. Financial intermediation plays a vital role in the financial sector by facilitating the flow of funds between savers and borrowers. It acts as a bridge, connecting individuals or entities with surplus funds, savers, to those in need of funds, borrowers. Let's delve into the concept of financial intermediation and explore its significance in the financial system. Understanding financial intermediation. Financial intermediation involves the collection of funds from savers and the subsequent allocation of these funds to borrowers. Savers deposit their surplus funds into financial institutions, such as banks, credit unions, or investment firms. These financial institutions then lend or invest these funds in various forms, such as loans, mortgages, corporate bonds, or government securities, to meet the financing needs of borrowers. The role of financial intermediaries. Financial intermediaries, such as banks, play a pivotal role in financial intermediation. They act as the intermediary between savers and borrowers, matching the demand for funds with the supply of funds. Financial intermediaries gather funds from savers by offering them attractive interest rates or other financial incentives. These funds are then made available to borrowers who require capital for various purposes, such as business expansion, investment projects, or personal consumption. Benefits and significance of financial intermediation. 1. Efficient allocation of funds. Financial intermediation ensures the efficient allocation of available funds. Savers may have excess funds that they do not immediately require, while borrowers may lack the necessary capital. By channeling funds from savers to borrowers, financial intermediaries help optimize the allocation of resources. This process promotes economic growth, as funds are directed towards productive investments and projects. 2. Risk diversification. Financial intermediaries contribute to risk diversification. By collecting funds from a diverse range of savers, they can distribute these funds to a wide array of borrowers. This helps spread the risk across different borrowers and sectors, reducing the vulnerability of individual savers or borrowers to potential losses. It also enhances financial stability and resilience within the financial system. 3. Expertise and information asymmetry. Financial intermediaries possess specialized knowledge and expertise in assessing creditworthiness, managing risks, and evaluating investment opportunities. They have access to information that savers and borrowers may lack individually. This expertise allows financial intermediaries to effectively evaluate potential borrowers, mitigate risks, and make informed investment decisions. By bridging the gap in information asymmetry, financial intermediaries contribute to more efficient resource allocation. 4. Transaction cost reduction. Financial intermediation helps reduce transaction costs associated with direct lending or borrowing. For savers, it is more convenient and efficient to deposit funds in a financial institution rather than individually engaging in direct lending. Similarly, borrowers can benefit from lower transaction costs by accessing funds through financial intermediaries, as these intermediaries handle the administrative, legal, and financial aspects of lending. 5. Liquidity provision. Financial intermediaries provide liquidity to the financial system. They transform relatively illiquid assets, such as long-term loans or mortgages, into more liquid liabilities, such as deposits or short-term borrowing. This enables savers to have easy access to their funds when needed, while borrowers can obtain the necessary funds for their immediate requirements. Liquidity provision enhances the functioning of the financial system and supports economic activities. In summary, financial intermediation is a crucial process that connects savers and borrowers, facilitating the efficient allocation of funds in the economy. Through financial intermediaries, surplus funds are collected from savers and allocated to borrowers, promoting economic growth, risk diversification, cost reduction, expertise utilization, and liquidity provision. By bridging the gap between savers and borrowers, financial intermediation plays a significant role in supporting economic activities and enhancing overall financial stability. Savings mobilization, promoting a culture of saving through financial products and incentives. Savings mobilization is an essential function of the financial sector that aims to encourage individuals and businesses to save by offering a range of financial products and incentives. This process plays a crucial role in fostering economic stability, supporting investment, and facilitating future financial security. Let's explore the concept of savings mobilization and its significance in promoting a culture of saving. Understanding savings mobilization. Savings mobilization involves activities and initiatives that encourage individuals and businesses to save a portion of their income or profits. Financial institutions, such as banks, credit unions, and investment firms, play a central role in this process by offering various savings and investment products. These products provide individuals and businesses with opportunities to set aside funds for future use, such as emergencies, education, retirement, or investment purposes. Promoting a culture of saving. Encouraging individuals and businesses to save is vital for several reasons. 1. Economic stability and capital formation. Savings mobilization contributes to economic stability and capital formation. When individuals and businesses save, it increases the pool of funds available for lending and investment. These savings can be channeled into productive economic activities, such as business expansion, infrastructure development, or research and development. Increased capital formation supports economic growth and stability by providing resources for investment and innovation. 2. Future financial security. Saving enables individuals and businesses to build financial resilience and secure their future. By setting aside funds, individuals can prepare for unforeseen circumstances, such as job loss, medical emergencies, or major life events. Businesses can accumulate capital to navigate economic downturns, invest in new ventures, or seize growth opportunities. Savings mobilization promotes financial security and helps individuals and businesses achieve long-term financial goals. 3. Investment and entrepreneurship. Savings mobilization plays a vital role in supporting investment and entrepreneurship. By saving and accumulating capital, individuals and businesses can fund their own ventures or invest in new or existing enterprises. This promotes economic growth, job creation, and innovation. A robust savings culture encourages entrepreneurship, as individuals have the financial resources necessary to start their own businesses or support others in their entrepreneurial endeavors. 4. Financing individual and business needs. Saving allows individuals and businesses to meet various financial needs without relying solely on external borrowing. By accumulating savings, individuals can finance education, homeownership, or other personal goals without excessive debt burdens. Similarly, businesses can use their savings to fund expansion plans, purchase equipment, or invest in research and development. Self-financing through savings reduces reliance on external financing and enhances financial autonomy. 5. Financial inclusion. Savings mobilization promotes financial inclusion by providing access to financial products and services to a broader segment of the population. By offering savings accounts, deposit products, or investment options tailored to different income levels and financial goals, financial institutions empower individuals and businesses to participate in the formal financial system. This inclusion facilitates economic participation, asset accumulation, and wealth creation. Financial products and incentives. Financial institutions employ various strategies and incentives to mobilize savings effectively. These may include savings accounts with competitive interest rates, certificates of deposit, CDS, offering higher returns for longer-term savings, retirement savings plans, such as individual retirement accounts, IRAs, or employer-sponsored pension schemes. Tax incentives, such as tax deductions for retirement contributions or tax-free interest on certain savings accounts. Matching contributions from employers for retirement savings plans. Specialized savings products, such as education savings accounts or health savings accounts, that offer tax advantages for specific purposes. These financial products and incentives encourage individuals and businesses to save by providing attractive returns, tax benefits, or targeted savings options. In summary, savings mobilization is a critical function of the financial sector that promotes a culture of saving among individuals and businesses. By offering diverse financial products and incentives, financial institutions encourage savings, contribute to economic stability, support investment, and enhance future financial security. A strong savings culture fosters economic growth, resilience, and individual well-being while promoting financial inclusion and self-reliance. Investment and capital allocation, fostering economic growth through effective fund allocation. Investment and capital allocation are crucial functions of the financial sector that contribute to economic growth by facilitating the effective allocation of funds to productive investments. This process involves identifying promising investment opportunities, evaluating risks and returns, and directing funds toward ventures that have the potential to generate value, innovation, and employment. Let's explore the concept of investment and capital allocation and its significance in promoting economic growth. Understanding investment and capital allocation. Investment refers to the act of allocating resources, such as financial capital, to acquire or create assets that are expected to generate future income or appreciate in value. Capital allocation, on the other hand, involves the distribution of available funds to different investment opportunities based on their potential returns, risks, and alignment with strategic objectives. The financial sector plays a crucial role in facilitating investment and ensuring efficient capital allocation. Significance of investment and capital allocation. 1. Economic growth and productivity. Effective investment and capital allocation promote economic growth and productivity. By directing funds to productive investments, such as business expansion, research and development, infrastructure projects, and technological advancements, economic output and efficiency can be enhanced. Investments in these areas stimulate innovation, create job opportunities, and contribute to overall economic development. 2. Resource optimization. Investment and capital allocation help optimize the utilization of available resources. Through careful analysis and assessment of investment opportunities, financial institutions, businesses, and individuals can direct funds toward projects or ventures that offer the best potential returns. This optimization ensures that resources are allocated efficiently, minimizing waste and maximizing the overall benefit to society. 3. Risk management and diversification. Capital allocation involves managing risks associated with investments. By diversifying investment portfolios, spreading funds across a range of assets, sectors, and geographies, the impact of any adverse events on the overall investment performance can be mitigated. Proper risk management strategies, including assessing risk-return trade-offs and conducting due diligence, enhance the resilience of investment portfolios and protect against potential losses. 4. Innovation and technological advancements. Investment and capital allocation play a vital role in driving innovation and technological advancements. Funds allocated to research and development initiatives, startups, and emerging industries fuel innovation and contribute to the development of new products, services, and processes. These investments create a conducive environment for entrepreneurship, foster competitive advantages, and promote economic diversification. 5. Job creation and wealth generation. Investment and capital allocation stimulate job creation and wealth generation. When funds are directed to productive investments, businesses expand their operations, hire additional employees, and generate income and wealth for individuals and communities. These investments contribute to employment opportunities, improve living standards, and create a multiplier effect within the economy. 6. Infrastructure development. Effective capital allocation supports infrastructure development. Investment in critical infrastructure, such as transportation systems, energy networks, communication facilities, and public services, contributes to the efficient functioning of the economy. Infrastructure investments enhance productivity, attract investment, and improve the overall quality of life for individuals and businesses. 7. Long-term financial security. Investment and capital allocation promote long-term financial security. By allocating funds to retirement accounts, investment portfolios, and other long-term assets, individuals and businesses can build wealth over time, diversify their financial resources, and safeguard their financial future. Long-term investments provide individuals with a means to support themselves during retirement and protect against financial uncertainties. In summary, investment and capital allocation are integral to promoting economic growth, innovation, and job creation. These functions facilitate the efficient allocation of funds to productive investments, optimize resource utilization, manage risks, and drive technological advancements. By directing funds to viable projects and ventures, investment and capital allocation contribute to economic prosperity, improved living standards, and long-term financial security. The financial sector plays a vital role in supporting these functions by providing expertise, financial products, and investment channels that enable individuals, businesses, and institutions to allocate their capital effectively.